Hari Om. Namaskaram to everyone. Vijay, good to see you back. Namaskar. So the last week we started with the invocation. Just a quick brief mention, the two primary purposes why an invocation is chanted by both the teacher and the taught. Firstly, as we said, it breaks the monotony of the routine, monotonous, mundane, worldly activities. All throughout, you're engaging your physical body, you're engaging your emotions and thoughts only with something which is relating to the world. It's all confined to the terrestrial. So the invocation serves a purpose to break the monotony. It gives us a jerk so that it alerts you that this is just not another ordinary activity. Just wake up so that you can attune yourself to this transcendental transaction so that you can optimize and attune to the self. Second reason, we said that the invocatory prayer fine-tunes the receptacles. The receptacles that receive this knowledge is the head and the heart. You must ensure that your mind is calm and serene, as composed as possible. At the same time, you've got to ensure your intellect is sharp and alert to receive these ideas. So when the receptacles, the head and heart, are aligned, you are able to absorb the deep import, the deep philosophical teachings from the Guru. So this is the primary purpose an invocation is chanted. Now, then we got on to the invocatory prayer. As we said, every text has its own unique prayer. So the text, Kaivalyopanishad, as we chanted, Bhadram karnebe shrunayama devaha, Bhadram pashe makshabhirya jatraha. So it says, may we hear that which is auspicious, may we behold that which is auspicious with our eyes, O worshipful ones. So offering the prayers to the lords, to the gods, he says, let us be careful, let us be cautious, let us ensure that only that which is auspicious. Auspicious, what is it that determines what is auspicious? What is auspicious for me may not be auspicious for you, but what is it that determines that which is auspicious? Anything that helps you in your spiritual development should be considered auspicious. Anything that's detrimental to you is considered inauspicious. Attending a wedding, is it auspicious or inauspicious? Engaging with social activities, is it auspicious or inauspicious? Who is to decide that? Anything that helps you associate with the higher, do it. Anything which doesn't help you associate with the higher, it is inauspicious. There's nothing wrong per se with an activity. Remember this. There is no activity per se that is right and wrong. There's no activity that can be defined as spiritual activity or material activity. So we are wrong by defining an action as spiritual or material. There's no action that's spiritual or material. But if an action doesn't help you associate with the higher, it is, as far as you're concerned, it is dusang. As far as you're concerned, it is inauspicious. So it is purely subjective. There is no given do's and don'ts in terms of what to and what not to. So you got to be ever alert. All your actions should be like a see-through glass, not like an opaque glass. If an action is opaque, then it's inauspicious. Just an example I'm saying. But if an action you're performing, you're able to still see through that action towards the higher goal, towards your purpose, then it's auspicious. Carry on doing it. So maybe here that which is auspicious, maybe see that's auspicious. We also spoke about satsang is the most quintessential element in your spiritual growth. It's like the raw material or the ingredients. If the lady is preparing food at home, would she not be mindful of the best ingredients that goes into the preparation? The vegetables are fresh, they're not stale. The grains are all of the best quality. And then she goes through the best possible ways and means of preparing the meal. And then comes the actual presentation and how you serve. So there is the raw material, there's the processing, and then there's the quality control, the end product. You can put your heart and soul into the preparation, but if the raw material is spoiled, in no way you can undo that and bring the best quality of food. It will not help. So the raw material, the Upanishad talks of, may you hear the auspicious and see auspicious. Again, it's not limited to only these two sense organs. It's limited to all your sense organs. All right. And then I think this is where we last left. And then he says, may we live a God-given span of life with firm limbs and bodies. Angaihi, sthiraihi. Sthiraihi means firm. Sthirai angaihi, tushtuvang, tanubihi. Tushtuvang means may we sing your praises. Devahitam ayuhu. Ayuhu is the span of life. The span of life, he says, we live a span of life, Devahitam, which has been allotted by the Lords, by the gods, God-given span of life. May we live the God-given span of life with firm limbs and bodies. Sthirai angai, singing your praises. Tushtuva. Now, don't take it literally. No, God is sitting there and giving you little longer life and little less life to me. As you and I understand and should understand that the life is determined only by your vasanas. Birth is determined by your vasanas. Life is determined by your vasanas. Death is determined by your vasanas. It is only the vasanas that drive your personality to be born. It's the vasanas that determine the personality to die. But he says, may we sing your praises. What does it mean, sing your praises? Oh, thank you, sir. I've been thinking my bhakti has been going a little low of late. Let me start singing bhajans and kirtans from morning to night and disturb my family members and my neighbors. Because I've also got a new microphone system. Let me attach it and let everybody also sing along with me. It's not sitting and singing. Singing your praises means what? It's not literally chanting aloud. It's not mere mechanical chant. What does it mean, singing your praises? Looks like nobody's going to volunteer until I ask them. Sushmama, you are an exception, Sushmama, I know. You are a class apart from everybody. I have got a soft corner for you. That's it.
I think it means that my heart should be full of gratitude and I sing your praises because I'm grateful that you have given me a strong body and my mind, which is going towards the higher. So my heart should be full of gratitude. So I sing your praises for that.
So singing the praises means being thankful, being grateful to the Lord at every moment, isn't it? Is to remember, is to oblate, is to offer everything that you do in the name of the Lord. You know, it's like when we perform this fire ritual, the yajna, everything, the central theme of that ritual is the flame, and everything happens around the flame, and everything is done to ensure the flame continues to shoot. So the shooting up of the flame is symbolic to the blessings of the Lord to everybody. So the rise of the flame is a blessing. But how does the flame continue to rise? Is a continuous offering that's going on. The pundits or those who are performing the ritual are constantly offering their ghee or grains or fruits or flowers. It's all offered into the flame. Only when it's offered that the flame continues to shoot. And when the ritual is finished, there's no more further grains to offer, the flame dies, and then the ashes are given as a prasad. Now, why I'm drawing a parallel is, if you want to ensure the thought of the self shoots up in your head, means if it's alive, if the flame of the self is alive, you must remember, you must oblate every action, every perception, every emotion, every thought to that end. It's like you're offering the grains into the flame. When you offer your actions, your perceptions, your emotions and thoughts into the flame of the self, that is when you're singing the praises of the Lord. The flame of the thought of the self within gets alighted, gets ignited. You sustain that flame within. It's offering, the oblation. So it is that gratitude with which you remember. Perfect. Now, what's important here in the context, he also says, may we live a life of firm limbs and bodies. Why does he say, why is the Upanishad talking about keeping the body fit? Angaihi, sthirairangaihi, he says. Vaidyanathanji, please tell us, sir, why are the Shastras themselves emphasizing on a firm body?
A healthy body is a prerequisite for pursuing our sadhana. In fact, I was just analyzing when we discussed about what actions are auspicious in a day. I was just analyzing from morning till evening, each action. Is it auspicious or inauspicious? Then I came to the conclusion, swimming is very auspicious because it helps to keep my body healthy, which is essential for pursuing my goal of self-realization. Eating food is also auspicious because I need to stay healthy and alive to continue that. So the prerequisite for pursuing the sadhana or pursuing our goal is to remain healthy, because we all know that anytime we fall sick, have a slight temperature, one of the first things we do is say, okay, today I will not do Sandhya Vandana. Today I will get up late. When we are little unhealthy, not fit in body and mind, our sadhana drops very quickly and we are not able to maintain it with the same amount of vigor and enthusiasm. So a healthy body and mind is essential prerequisite to continue our journey.
So, as you rightly said, it's a journey. And when we talk of journey, we say, is your vehicle in good repair, isn't it?
Right.
So the body is just a mere vehicle. Thank you, Sergey. The body is a mere vehicle which serves you in the journey. Now the question is whether are you keeping the vehicle in good repair? That's all. When he says you keep your limbs firm, that the accent is, the emphasis is on keeping it fit, because your physical body should not be a hindrance in your journey, should not become an impediment. Now, mentioning of this, a quick mention about the concept of middle path. Ramji, what are the two extremities people go to? And in between the two extremities, there's something called as a middle path. Are you able to relate to it, Ramji?
So you're talking of the middle path in the spiritual journey, or in general, you're saying?
Middle path to begin with, when he says keeping the body fit.
Okay. So
And
I think
I'll extend it to other things. We can extend it to other things, or in fact, everything in life, one has to take the middle path.
correct.
But can you bring in the two extremities with reference to the physical body?
So I think one extremity people take is that they doing too much of everything. That is too much of starving the body, starving as a means of achieving a spiritual upliftment is an extremity to which some people go, right? And so that will definitely make sure that the body eventually suffers. I think that is one extremity we talk about. Purely with regard to body and limbs, that's what I'm talking, physical fitness. The other extremity is that we indulge in too much of feeding of the body, which is very inauspicious, as we call it. So I think the middle path is that you just give enough nutrition to the body so that it stays fit and strong for a longer journey. So you are not overfeeding or underfeeding the body.
Correct. Absolutely. So when you neglect the body, I'm only putting it in a technical way, one extremity of life people easily get into is tamas. Tamas is when you indulge, disregard the body, you start using the body as a vehicle of indulgence or as an avenue of indulgence. You treat senses as an avenue of sense indulgence. That is one extremity. People live an extreme tamasic life. The majority of humanity are tamasic. Now, other extremity, one side of the pendulum people swing to the other is they give too much importance to the body. They become too conscious of the physical body. One is they neglect it, they treat it as a avenue of indulgence, pamper it and destroy it. Other extremity, people are worshipping the body. They become body conscious. They become so conscious that the body becomes the precedence of anything else that they do in life. They start worshipping, they start doing all that the body just to draw attention. They go to the extent of tattooing and piercing and whatnot. So one extremity is when you worship the body is rajasic, when you neglect the body is tamasic. Sattvic is to understand that the body is a vehicle and it needs to be kept in good repair so that it serves me in the spiritual journey. That attitude to understand it's a mere vehicle and it needs to take me in the long distance of the spiritual journey. So whatever attention the body requires, nothing more, nothing less. You're not neglecting it, nor are you worshipping it. You know, it's such a common thing in the West. Even here, you don't do that often. Hardly once in 6 months, I might go to a mall here. But there, when you're abroad, you know, you have to go there because it's a common place of all your requirements. You go there into these huge malls. And I used to be pounded with these stores. Everything out there is about sense perceptions. Everything is something appealing. And every time as you keep walking in the aisles, they'll keep giving you these strips of fragrances. And then you have these, what do you call? Kashish, what are the brands which you can quickly mention, which deal with the physical body, requirements of the body?
As in, Guruji, just relating to perfumes or any brand?
Anything. You can start with perfume and you can go beyond that also.
Well, it could be perfume brands like Marc Jacob or Chanel or things like that. And then it would be anything fashion related, Adidas, I don't know, any clothing brands, H&M, Zara.
Apparel apart.
Apparel. And then
just
food
to
brands.
No, that all apart. Just to how to pamper the body. You don't have Body Shop in Australia?
I don't know. I don't think I've gone to a Body Shop in Australia, but maybe there is.
Oh, I'm asking the wrong person. He's a very highly spiritual person, Kashish is.
But you have something similar, just Lush, I think. Another type of shop where it's just fancy things for the body.
Right. So you can go and get yourself almond bath. And then you will get just jasmine soap. This, you can go berserk trying to just give in to the body needs. And that is what I'm talking about. So all that is a rajasic life. But yet you need to bathe, you need to be presentable, you need to trim your nails, you need to get your hair cut, you need to be presentable so that people sitting next to you understand, oh, this fellow, they should not know this fellow hasn't had a bath. Then you will stink. It's not that so there's a very thin line between you go worshipping the body or giving it the due attention. Right, Kashish? Hardly anybody lives a sattvic life. So the middle path from tamas to rajas sattva is to understand it, to give it what it requires, because it's a vehicle in the journey. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. Then you don't fall a prey to the body. Right. Perfect. Situji, yes, sir.
Hari Om Guruji.
Yes, sir. Namaskar.
I just wanted to share that eating in moderation, each one interprets very differently, and they sometimes justify whatever they are doing by using that statement moderation. This is what has been my learning. Myself, Vasanta, we attended a 5-day retreat with Lalit Kapoor, where we were given widespread of food, and we can eat whatever we want, even quantity, but certain foods, sattvic foods basically, which our body accepts, and in a right proportion in a specified time, that is called using intermittent fasting, went a long way in making the body which we felt within a matter of 5 days. See, earlier I never used to walk. I had a lot of knee pain, and I used to even walk a few steps. But in these 5 days, we were in a hill where I had to walk almost 200 steps every day, many times. And I could do comfortably. And our regimen was from morning 5:30 to night 10 o'clock with very nominal breaks. And we enjoyed every moment of it, thanks to the food, quality of food. Because what I learned is our body, that if we want to be really good, it doesn't accept, processed food, refined food, animal food, these things. Anything other than that, you can eat in quantity, but not all through the day, 24 hours. So this helped me, but it was all sattvic, and this was the age group was from 20 to 80, and all had a similar experience. I just wanted to share.
Thank you, Setuji. In fact, you are telling which the Bhagavad Gita puts it, I can't recall which chapter, I think it's in the 4th or the 5th chapter. He says, this knowledge is not meant for those who eat too much or eat too little, who sleep too much or sleep too little. This knowledge is not meant for those who do that. So it's meant for the people who have struck a balance, which is the sattvic life. And a long way we need to do that, just to bring in that sattva, even at the physical level, the food level, as Setuji shared his experiences. Yeah, Vijayaraghavanji.
Pranam Guruji. A thought occurred to me, like wishing for a firm body is by itself as a wish. But then singing praise with a firm body is possibly a very good thing, because everybody thinks of God or Brahman when they are in trouble, when they are not well. But if you are able to think of God when you are well, possibly it's more likely to be out of contentment and gratitude. And that is a more difficult thing to do, because that is the time we forget God.
So yeah, there is a hidden message there as well,
It's just possibly a stray thought.
No, it is very apt. Yes, certainly. Not many do that. So, so the middle part with reference to the body was either you neglect the body or worship the body. Now, with reference to the mind, Lakshmi Ma, now tell me, with reference to emotions, what are the two extremities people get into?
Well, they get very overly emotional. They become too attached and almost lose their senses. Or the other one is they are so indifferent to everything. They stay unaffected even when it matters. So
I wouldn't use the word unaffected. I would say unconcerned.
Unconcerned. So it's one thing.
So one is to be emotional.
One is to be unconcerned.
So being emotional and making too much noise is rajas. Being unconcerned or being cold is tamas. Now, sattva is to have the purest of emotions and yet remain unaffected by them. Means you remain above them. You don't develop an attachment to it. So sattva is to have the purest of emotions you can entertain, whether be it love, pity, kindness, forgiveness, etc. You're able to entertain those emotions. At the same time, you're not affected by the emotion. Aparagaru, we took mention of the emotion called love. But do you know the term when the same emotion which is pure is sattvic emotion is love? When the same emotion becomes impure, what does it become?
Lust.
No, you may love your child, but the same emotion of love to your child, when it's impure, what does it become?
It becomes lust, Guruji.
No, when that's what I'm clarifying. The emotion you have towards your child can't be called as lust.
No, not for the child. Okay.
That's the reason I gave in the emotion. I clarified it so that I can bring you to a certain line of thought. Not that you're wrong, but when the emotion is pure, in fact, let me help you, sir. When the emotion is pure and unselfish, it is love. When the same emotion becomes selfish, what's the term? A selfish love is called what?
So it's basically becoming over possessive and highly desirous of something, highly controlling. And I don't know the term, sir.
Right.
I
No, in fact,
understood the question.
Yes.
But
No, you put it in your own words, being over possessive. You are, in fact, that emotion of love, when it has the tinge of selfishness, it's called attachment. So the definition of attachment is love. Why are both of you laughing? Enna Vasantama?
I can relate it. So,
So love plus selfishness equals attachment. So getting attached to your kith and kin, your family, or your belongings, this is one extremity of the pendulum. Is you swing from one end. One end is you develop, and as Rajima put it, a black market value. You give a wrong value to it, you develop an attachment to it. Other extremity is you don't care at all. When somebody needs your love and attention, you don't care.
Guruji,
That also is not acceptable. Yes, sir.
Guruji, how can someone love any person or anything without attachment?
How can no? Are you questioning? It's not possible, huh?
I don't know. Well, for me, it's not possible. Neither I could imagine, loving someone without attachment.
Sir, what is love? Love is nothing but a feeling, isn't it? You share with other person. I have a feeling for you for what you are. You have a feeling for me for what I am. You have a feeling for the person, right? But when that same feeling is abused with a hidden agenda or a motive, then it becomes attachment. You can have a pure feeling of love towards your child, but you don't need to necessarily have any expectation or any want in it. You just want to love your child. Your child may not be able to reciprocate back the love or the feeling you give your child, but you can still continue to love your child for what the child is, not what you are receiving from that end. So when it is giving and receiving, it's a bargain, it is attachment. Love is one-sided. It doesn't matter whether the world reciprocates back to you, but you have that pure feeling. It's your pure disposition. Your mind is so pure, you just want to spread that feeling to the world. But you say, I love you only when you love me back. That is attachment. That's selfish. It's business.
Guruji, I think with the children, it's not about getting back. but there is an overprotectiveness or, trying to control. Basically, I believe that I can make your life better than you can make your life. Kind of thoughts are so empowering or overpowering, actually not empowering, overpowering, that sometimes it doesn't empower the kid to do what they want to do. So how do we control that? I mean, my daughter is 25 plus, but still I think I have that urge and the feeling that I can set your right life, not yourself. So
I think you're doing a piggybacking. And at this age, you do piggybacking on her, it might be a little burden on her. No, say, mommy, please get off. I can't carry you anymore.
yes.
So it is that quality which is nothing but, I'm sorry to say, I just have to, like a doctor telling what the truth is, I have to speak the truth. This is nothing but attachment. It is an over concern where you're not able to let go of your feelings. You may feel, but you're not able to control your expression of those feelings. And it causes rupture. So what causes rupture in a relationship is not the emotion, it's the lack of control over your emotions. So this is where you need to let go a little bit. This is where you need to be a little liberal. You need to give them the space and the freedom. Give them the respect that they have the choice and they have the freedom, and respect that person as a human. I tell you, it goes a long way in gaining that respect back from the other person. I'm saying because as a father, I'm talking, I'm able to relate to you when you say as a mother, you see how your child, as a father, how I deal with my own child. If I keep on piggybacking on her and telling her what she needs to and what she does or should not do, and imposing myself on her, I may not have any respect for her. I can't receive the respect from her. But if I give her the freedom, let her do, and continue to set a certain standard of life which you want her to live, but you live it yourself. So there is a certain imaginary boundary created by the sheer lifestyle you live, the sheer value systems you are becoming an example for the child to look up to and emulate. Then what would happen is their freedom is there, and let the child look up to you to follow the value systems which you want the child to live. You want the child to live a certain life, but by enforcing, there's a backlash. This is because the law of life is anything forced is never forceful. You're trying to force your views, however noble, however right they are. When you force your views, it always has a backlash. So that is invariably the case with many. They tend to go to one extremity of developing attachment, or you are very cold to other sufferings. You say, how am I concerned? It's not my business to think of. And when people are going through any difficult situation, or you see suffering around you, you are very cold. Your heart doesn't feel for the suffering. That is becoming tamasic. Or you get so overwhelmed that you start sit and cry. And to put it in the words of Rajima, I don't know whether you heard this. My guru used to tell of how his guru, Chinmayananji, used to describe the middle path with reference to emotions. The middle path with reference to emotion is, to be cold is you don't feel at all. No? To be emotional is where you're affected, your tears start rolling down your cheeks. You're emotional, you get very affected. Now, to feel and not be affected is, apparently Gurudev used to say, Chinmayan used to say, that you feel that you can feel your eyes getting watery, but not affected to the extent that they roll down your cheeks. So you feel it, your eyes almost become watery because you are touched by that moment of whether love or grief, but not affected that the whole tissue box is finished. So you feel and yet not affected. That is sattva. Someday perhaps Vasantama will take an elaborate session on emotion vis-a-vis emotionalism. I think there's some video that was there. Gayatri, maybe you could share with Vasantama, There was a topic we expanded on that could give you a little insight, but I'm just briefly mentioning the middle part between Rajas and Tamas and the Sattva.
So Guruji, love is something, love is a feeling without any expectations. Can I define like that?
Yes, absolutely. Love is a pure emotion where you identify with other person without having any expectation in return. The moment you have an expectation in return, it's attachment. So to define attachment is defined as love plus selfishness. Just go about giving this equation, sir. Love plus selfishness. Attachment is love plus selfishness. So then what is pure love? Attachment minus selfishness. So if you can take out your selfishness in a relationship, it's pure love. That's a difficult part. That's a difficult part.
So when I take the responsibility and accountability of my daughter, so where is the selfishness? I wanted to be accountable and I wanted to be responsible for bringing up my daughter. So there is no selfishness, but still it is basically I'm trying to control her or something like that. So I still love my daughter. There's no doubt about it. I am not expecting anything from her.
Then you are sattvic, sir. Where is the question?
So just not being selfish is not sufficient, I felt, because at the same time, some degree of freedom, not, I don't know. It's, attachment, I don't know, I am unable to express basically. I am not selfish, but at the same time, I love my daughter, but at the same time, probably I'm expecting her to do something which I feel is right.
That, in short, is nothing but being selfish, sir. You are being very technical and yet non-technical at the same time. So please ponder over these ideas. We can always have another discussion expanding on that. Okay, sir? Yeah. Right. Harish?
Hari Om Guruji. Guruji, on this ongoing topic, while I completely understand we shouldn't have any expectation, but don't we have an expectation of everybody fulfilling their duties, whatever role they're playing towards, whether it's the family or work or whatever in our lives? Because some people, they apparently, let's say they don't do their duties, but don't we have the right to expect that in certain people? I mean, expecting in the sense that they should do their duties, which is part of relationships. But if they don't do their duties, then how does the expectation factor overlap with this? Sometimes I feel there's a very fine line between duty and expectation. This is where it gets a bit tricky. I just want a bit of clarity on that, Guruji.
So in the name of duty, don't justify your expectations. If it is their duty, let them recognize it and let them do it. It's like if it's your duty of a son to do whatever duties towards the parents or towards a father. Example, as a father, you have certain duties towards your spouse, towards your family, towards your parents. Now let each one realize what are their duties and execute it. But you may bring it to their attention, but you got to be very objective without any personal expectation. Like you may go to your son and say, you have a responsibility to take care of your parents. Example, a father goes to his son and says, you have a responsibility to take care of your parents. Now you got to be extremely objective. Otherwise it will be very selfish. You fellow, I brought you into this world. I've provided for you. I've educated you. I've given everything to you. Now you better take care of me. Isn't that an extremely selfish expectation? But you may educate your child the responsibility or duty of a son, what it is to be an ideal son. So don't justify your expectations in the process of trying to remind others of their duties and responsibilities. You may end up doing that. So be careful. Because we never know what one's motives are. You've got to be very, very careful in examining what one's motives, if at all there are any motives. Many of us may think, oh, I don't have any motive in it, but invariably there's a very hidden motive. You've got to go deep into your mind to understand why I'm doing it, for whatever I'm doing it. So don't justify your expectations in the name of others' duties and responsibilities. Does that clarify, Harish?
Yes, it does.
Don't justify. It's their prerogative to do what they want to do. Like as a teacher and a student. As a student, you have certain responsibilities, isn't it?
Yes.
Certain duties.
Yes.
Now, if I were to knock at each door of all of you and say, are you doing your responsibility and duties as a student to the teacher, to the cause, wouldn't it construe and brand me as someone who is having hidden agenda in why I'm doing it? But all I could be doing is, Harish, do you know your duties and responsibilities towards a teacher, towards your guru? I would be the most misunderstood guru if I do that, isn't it? So don't justify your expectations in the process of reminding others of their duties. Let them do what they want to do. If at all you are in a position to remind anybody, do it extremely objectively. Be very objective when you do that. But as far as you're concerned, you try to be as pure in your motive without any expectation. That you have a choice to work at. Others' actions, you have no control. Be careful. Okay?
Yes.
I've just been informed that Sandeep ji, glad you're able to join us, sir. Look forward to connecting with you. I know you have been in and out because of maybe some technical issues, but glad you could join us, Sandeep Nigam ji. Yeah, Lakshmi ma.
No, just now when you were talking about emotions, something I read, a quote, just came to my mind. I just read it, it's short. In Irish, when you talk about emotion, in the Irish language, you don't say, I am sad. You'll say, sadness is on me. And the person says, and I left that because there's an implication of not identifying yourself with the emotion fully. I'm not sad. It's just that sadness is on me for a while. Something else will be on me another time. And that's a good thing to recognize. I think it's a very nice way to shed off emotions and not internalize it. Sadness is on me instead of saying I'm sad. I'm just thinking it's beautiful. The way I just read it and I thought, yeah, that's another way of looking at things, you know.
To also tell you, you are not just a puff of emotion, man. Why should your life be defined by a puff of emotion? It could be joy. Joy is on me. Sadness is on me. Ecstasy is on me. Grief is on me. I am not it. Yes. You're separating yourself from those passing, fleeting emotions. They come and go. Emotions roll by, like the clouds roll by.
Yeah.
Eternal sunshine should settle on your head. Don't let these emotions come and disturb you.
That's a nice way of psyching ourselves. Instead of every time saying I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry, saying it's anger is on me, sadness is on me. So it's sort of, you're not identifying with it, right? So that's, language is beautiful.
Yeah, it is. Good, Ma. Glad you shared it.
Just like me.
Yeah, Varshama, you wanted to say something?
No, Guruji, actually it got clarified in between.
Okay.
Thank
Glad.
you.
Okay, right. So at the physical level, you should not disregard the body nor give over importance. Give it the right attention so that it serves in your journey. At the emotional level, you don't become too emotional and get attached, or you become cold, which is tamasic or rajasic. Don't get to the extremities. And at the intellectual level, many people get into, not many people read this knowledge or any knowledge. They are not read, they don't pick up these ideas. So tamasic is not to pick up any idea at all. Rajasic is to become mere voracious readers. They go into the length of study. Rajas is they read voluminous of literature. They mere parrot the text. But sattva is when you get into the depth of study. The real wisdom is in the depth. Like what we are attempting, we're just hair splitting these, just the invocation, not even going to the text and trying to understand the deeper meaning. So that is sattva. So when he says, keep your limbs firm, implication is to live a life of middle path. And then he says, may the traditionally glorified Indra bless us. Indra is the mind. So the mind's cooperation is essential, is paramount. It is the mind that keeps you going. And it's the mind that's active throughout. And the mind has got so much energy, your mind doesn't get tired. Correct, Ushama? UK? Your mind doesn't get tired. It's your body that gets tired. Your mind doesn't get tired.
Yes, Guruji. Even in
It's
sleep,
never...
you will be thinking.
Correct. I knew you were going to say that. So there's so much energy, it doesn't know what to do. It also comes and disturbs you in your sleep, isn't it? Very rarely, we do have that sound sleep or deep sleep where the mind is quiet for a few hours. But otherwise, you never experience the tiredness of the mind, isn't it? So therefore, by saying, may the traditionally glorified Indra bless us, means we are seeking the blessing and cooperation of the mind. The mind also must cooperate. Cooperate in what, Ma?
In imbibing the wisdom and trying to, remaining calm, balanced in a sattvic, trying to lead a sattvic this thing in all the aspects.
Mind should cooperate in the pursuit of the self. Because I am in this journey of the higher, the mind also must cooperate. Because I may like to do it, but where is your mind? The other day we learned this various aspects of the mind. One of the aspects of the mind is it has its desires, it wanders away, it is distracted by many things. So if your mind cooperates with you, I tell you, your action becomes such a blessing.
Yes.
Isn't it? So by saying the traditionally glorified Indra bless us, refers to the mind. May the all-knowing Sun bless us. Sun is that which refers to the gross intellect. Bruhaspati, may Bruhaspati bless us, refers to the subtle intellect. And may Vayu, the protector from harm, Arishthanebihi. Vayu is Arishthanebihi. Protect. Vayu is that which protects us from harm. Very interesting why he says it. As you know, it's the wind that saves us from harm. Wherever there is air stagnates, it smells foul, isn't it? It's unhealthy. And even they say many a time, if you have a minor wound also, don't dress it. They say leave it open to air, isn't it? It's the sheer exposure to air, it heals faster rather than doing all the dressing and, leaving it covered. So Vayu symbolizes, what does Vayu symbolize? It's the life-giving force, Vayu. No, don't take it to be the Atman. In fact, when you do, we are breathing 24 hours a day, whether in sleep or deep sleep, conscious, not conscious, you're breathing. But does that give you health? Vasantama, does mere breathing give you health?
No, Guruji.
So what is it that gives you health?
It is the self which is within us.
No, I'm only with breath. Does breathing give you health?
No, breathing alone cannot give health. It is
all of us are breathing. Does it mean all of us are healthy? No. What gives us health is conscious breathing. Sorry?
Breathing in the right way.
Conscious breathing. For example, when you do pranayama, what are you doing? Controlled breath, isn't it? In that sense, I said Vayu can be symbolized as a life-giving force. It energizes you. So when you do conscious pranayama or any breathing exercise, it vitalizes you. It regenerates you, isn't it?
Yes.
So in that sense, he says, may Vayu bless us. May Brihaspati bless us. May the sun god bless us. So he is referred to all, the mind, the gross intellect, the subtle intellect, the pranamaya kosha, annamaya kosha, the body, all aspects of the personality. He says, may they bless us. May all these cooperate so that my spiritual journey is in full force. And then, as any traditional invocation ends with Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. 3 Shantis, which are, first Shanti is chanted aloud, second in middle pitch, the last almost in mental whispers. So the 3 Shanti addressing appeal for peace at Adi Daivikam, Adi Bhautikam, Adhyatmikam. Cosmic disturbances, to set right the cosmic disturbances, to set right, to address the external disturbances. Adi Daivikam is cosmic, Adi Bhautikam is external, Adhyatmikam is internal. All the internal disturbances, all these, may there be peace. Okay, now let's move on. We'll chant the first mantra. We'll not be able to do justice to it, but we'll just get into it. We'll come back and we will expand on it. But let's chant the first mantra, please. अथाश्वलायनो भगवन्तं परमेष्ठिनमुपसमेत्य उवाच अधीहि भगवन् ब्रह्म विद्यां वरिष्ठां सदा सद्भिः सेव्यमानां निगूढां यया चिरात् सर्वपापं व्यपोह्य परात् परं पुरुषं याति विद्वान् अथाश्वलायनो भगवन्तं परमेष्ठिनमुपसमेत्य उवाच अधीहि भगवन् ब्रह्म विद्यां वरिष्ठां सदा सद्भिः सेव्यमानां निगूढां यया चिरात् सर्वपापं व्यपोह्य परात् परं पुरुषं याति विद्वान्. Look at the way the text begins. Atha, then Ashwalayana, having approached the venerable Lord Brahma, said, O blessed Lord, Bhagavan, O Bhagavan, O Lord, teach me the supreme knowledge of Brahman, Brahma Vidyam, Pratishtham. Atha Ashwalayano Bhagavantam Parameshwanam Upasametya Uvacha. So having approached, he said, Adihi, please teach me Brahma Vidyam, Varishtham, the supreme knowledge of Brahman, which is sought always by the wise. Sada Sadbhis Sevyamanam. The qualification there is Sada. Sada is always. Not once in a week wisdom discourses. Rest of the week, don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing everything else except this. Sada Sadbhis Sevyamanam. Always sought by the wise, a profound secret. Nigudham. Nigudham means a secret, a profound secret, by which the wise go on. Achirena, they go, discarding all sins. Papam. Vyapohya. Vyapohya means discarded sins, reach the supreme being. Parat param yati vidwan. Greater than the great. See, these the spirit, what they're trying to convey is far beyond the words, but the words can give you an implication how pregnant they are with meaning and how rich they are, what they're trying to convey. Now, Ashwalayana is a student in the text, is the son of the sage Ashwalayana. Ashwalayana is the son of the sage Ashwalayana. So Ashwalayana approaches Lord Brahma and he says, please teach me. Now, I'm just a little short of grammar here. Now, when you use the word then, what does it indicate? When would you use the then? Is Harish Kumar ji there or not there? Hari ji, please tell me, when would you use the word then in English language?
Hari Om Guruji. Generally, to say as a result of or therefore. Generally for the word therefore.
generally a word.
Background, therefore this.
Therefore this. Now, the text starts with the word therefore. Isn't that in itself a very profound implication? The language itself is conveying something. You would conclude something with then or therefore, but the text, atha ashvalayana, then ashvalayana. So what does it mean? Then ashvalayana, what does it mean? Yes, Harishi. Yes, Ji.
I think it indicates that this is a continuing process. It indicates that the student has come a certain distance. He has already covered a lot. So, and now, therefore, he is at this. It's like you're saying you prepare the environment, you get into satsang, you do the invocation. Having done all that, then you are now at the stage where you can ask these questions.
Perfect. In fact, I would go a little beyond that to what you said, that here is a student who's a fully qualified student. Here is a student who is an adhikari. He has done all that he needs to do. And then he comes to the Guru, to the Lord Brahma, to receive this Brahma Vidya. So the very word then suggests how qualified the student was, how qualified Ashvalayana was. Now, there are 4 qualities of a student. What is it that qualifies a student to receive this knowledge? The 4 qualities. A brief mention, I'll come back and expand it. Just do jot it down. The 4 qualities. The first is Viveka. Viveka means you must have a sharp intellect, the buddhi, to do discrimination. It's the job of the intellect to discriminate between right and wrong, what to and what not to, should I or shouldn't. It is the choice the intellect makes, and that capacity to choose depends on Viveka, discrimination. The second quality which qualifies a student is Vairagya. Vairagya is to understand and the capacity to drop a certain thing. In order to gain the higher. You understand the importance of a certain activity. Example, one could lead a social life. You understand the role of a social life. But you also understand, not just understand, you also have the capacity to drop that life of just mere social life so that you can embark on this journey. Viveka, Vairagya. The third is Shad Sampatti. The third is the 6-fold wealth of qualities. Shad Sampatti, the 6-fold wealth of qualities, is under point 3. First is Viveka, discrimination. Second is Vairagya, dispassion or detachment. Third is the 6-fold wealth of qualities known as Shad Sampatti. And what they are is, one is calmness, Kshamaha, calmness, Damaha, self-control. Third is self-withdrawal. Fourth is endurance. Fifth is Shraddha. And the 6th is tranquility. I repeat, calmness, self-control, self-withdrawal, endurance, Shraddha, which is translated as faith, and the sixth is tranquility. And the fourth and the last quality which qualifies a student is mumukshatva. Mumukshatva is that burning desire for liberation. A burning desire for liberation which suffocates a spiritual aspirant. So how do you measure your mumukshatva? Is your level of suffocation. I will explain all of this, but just to ensure you've got all of this right, Kashish will repeat all these qualities I just took a mention of. I hope, Kashish, you got a hold of all the qualities. So the word then implies all these qualities. Please.
The first is Vairagya, which is a sharp intellect, the ability to discern or discriminate.
How did you write the word Viveka?
Viveka.
Perfect. Viveka, yes.
Then is Vairagya, which is detachment or the ability to understand and drop something in order to gain the higher. Then is Shadsampati.
Yes.
Which is the sixfold wealth of qualities. These include calmness, self-control, self-withdrawal, endurance, Shraddha, which is translated as faith, and tranquility. And then there's Mumukshatva, which is the burning desire for liberation.
Which expresses as?
The desire to attain the higher, to be liberated or to achieve self-enlightenment.
You know, that desire for liberation expresses as a suffocation when not fed.
A suffocation when not fed.
Like when you have a desire for something and when your desire is not satisfied, don't you feel uneasy? Don't you feel a discomfort? Don't you feel a sense of restlessness? A sense of the urge, you're feeling suffocated. You want to experience that, isn't it? Exactly the same feeling. When the desire to gain that moksha is not met, you feel a sense of suffocation, exactly like you're being deprived of breath. That suffocative feeling. So all these qualities are captured in that one word, atha. Atha means then. This describes how well qualified Ashvalayana was. This is an Upanishad, please. This is what it is, how these texts are so packed, pregnant with meaning. That's why I said it conveys far, far beyond. And you can spend days, hours trying to understand all these qualities. So the sadhak has done all that he needs to do. And that's when you're ready to receive the Brahma Vidya from the Guru. So he went to an apt Guru, Lord Brahma himself. So we'll come back and we will expand on the first mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.